All right, I think we're live.
I think so. Should be good to go as far as I can see. We've got audio and everything happening as well. So
Great. You live on your channel, mate?
am I? That's so exciting, man.
Yeah.
And you're live on yours too from the.
That's right. It's a double live stream. It's Inception.
I know,
Liveception.
that's good. But all the good audio is on YouTube. So.
Yes, that's right. So if anyone sees this while we're still live on my channel, just go and check Steven's YouTube channel for better quality.
Oh, and while we do that, just turning the audio up here as well. Oh, hey, got audio and everything happening as well. There we go. Pilot episode problems here.
Yeah, that's right. This is a pilot. We're testing something new out, so hopefully people will enjoy it.
Exciting. Yeah, this is actually pretty cool because, I think, I think this sort of stems from that really cool conversation you and I had a couple of weeks ago down here.
Yeah.
On the couch over here. But the whole idea to do this really started on the weekend or something.
Yeah.
Or like a couple of days ago, anyway.
That's right. Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of your interviews, and I think that's cool. But for me, always the more exciting thing is when we catch up and we just talk about the industry.
Yep.
Not, to tell what we're doing necessarily, but just, our view on the industry. I always find it so fascinating. And that's what I feel could be fascinating for other people as well, hopefully. Just that insight and those talks that go behind closed doors sometimes.
Yes,
with the real truths that sometimes, people, I don't want to say, they're not afraid to say, but it's like, it's just not widely discussed. And some of it I wish I would have heard when I was, younger or just starting projects and stuff like that. So I think between us, there's a lot of insight. And like we talked about in this new format, hopefully we'll get maybe even other guests that we know, and we can really share the knowledge of, the ways that you want to really conduct yourself in the industry and really sort of the way to move forward and secure a future for yourself. I think that's important.
I think a lot of it is also simply having like two creative minds talking about different ideas and different approaches on how you can come up with some sort of industry hacks, if you like.
That's right.
And yeah, absolutely, I agree. Like every time you and I talk, something crazy comes out of it, like something magic happens, and something like, I think probably both of us have a couple of light bulb moments where we go like, oh man, that's a really good idea. I gotta implement that, or I gotta try that out, or something like that.
Absolutely. And case in point, we can actually just point out that little conversation we just had before we opened the stream about having a view.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you do. So I told Steph, I'm gonna look sometimes to that camera, so there's like a connection to the audience. But I told Steph that I find I always like to, if I do a live stream, I go on my phone or another device, computer, whatever, and have that watch the stream. So it always looks like at least there's one viewer, because it makes a huge psychological impact. It's the same as if you're a busker and you always want to put a bit of change in your gig bag, because that's what's going to make people feel comfortable to put more money in, right? As opposed to an empty bag that no one did it, so no one wants to be the first one. And I've just sort of came out to that realization by watching other streams where there was just 0 viewers, and then I log in and it feels a bit awkward, and you almost feel sad.
You don't want to leave.
Yeah, that's right. You feel like pressure. It ends up being a less positive experience, regardless if you're staying or not. You want the people to just enjoy and feel free to leave whenever they want to. So yeah, by having a device or even two, just always watching and having the fake view in this case, it just helps create, I think, a better experience. And it's such a small, stupid thing, but it's amazing how it just makes everyone feel better about.
It made all the sense in the world when you said it. Yeah,
exactly. So we're totally not doing it now. The views are totally real. Yeah, absolutely. So when we talked about doing this, you said you have like a bit of a story to start us off regarding your video clip.
Yeah,
Do
sure.
you want to start there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as you and some people watching might know, I released my first single, my first solo song on Saturday on my birthday. And the whole story behind sort of leading up to how that came about, how that was approached, I thought was a really, really good small little segment to start out on. Because I see so many bands that either don't do a music video, so they either don't do one at all, or they go absolutely all in and spend way too much money on something that probably won't give them the investment they put into it.
Yeah.
So I deliberately decided that for this first one, because, you know, a lot of people hear me talk about, you know, business all the time, and I should approach it with sort of like budget and cash flow and blah, blah, blah in mind. So anyway, I decided I'm going to do a video of no more than $100 for this first one. And so far I've spent $7.
Wow.
And that $7 is actually on the lyric video.
Was
which
that
is not even out yet.
on the stock footage?
So everything. So I decided. Look, I tried over and over again to write down a brief of what I had in mind for the concept for the video. But because the video is sort of quite personal. It's actually a song I wrote 10 years ago. But just, you know, anyway, I never ended up releasing it. So. I had this idea of sort of like how it constantly feels for everyone to sort of be stuck in the matrix, like stuck in like the daily grind and all that stuff. So it was really important for me to have the visual aspect of the matrix and have everything in those monochrome colors.
Yeah.
And I was trying to write the whole brief down. I was like, man, this is going to be hard. This is going to be difficult. I'm probably going to spend way more time trying to explain to someone else exactly what I had in mind. So the moral of the story here is I decided about probably 10 days ago, I'm just going to learn how to do it. I'm just going to figure a way. I'm just going to literally just block out 2 or 3 days. I'm putting my phone over there in a different room on silent. I'm only going to look at it when I'm going lunch break or if I go to the toilet.
Yeah.
And I ended up actually not looking at it all the first day. But anyway, so I sat down because I knew what I wanted visually in my head. I just didn't know how to do it myself. So I had to learn it on the fly. And so my point of the story here is, instead of trying to maybe spend, you know, $1,000 or $2,000, $5,000 or however much like a professional shot music video is, because I'm the same as anyone else. When I see something that's completely overproduced, looks super pro, I'm like, wow, okay, it looks really cool. But then at the same time, I think about, wow, that has not been cheap. You know what I mean? Like they have really spent money on it. And you can tell. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then I was like, look, I don't need to spend a fortune on something, especially because I know I very much believe in quantity over quality when it comes to something like this. I think it's far more important for you to have a shit ton of content to put out than having one really good video and nothing else. So in my opinion, it was like, look, I want to create something that I'm happy with, because again, it has to be something that I can vouch for. And I think it's going to be really difficult for me, especially on the first one here, to actually outsource it. So it was just important for me to I just learned it. I came up with something. I decided, look, I'm just only going to use stock footage or something that I very easily can do myself.
Yeah.
And the result is better than I could ever imagine, even if I'd outsourced it. So because it tells the story exactly, like it's got the climax in the middle, it's got the outcome at the end where everything goes into full color, where you sort of you break out and you have all this beautiful scenery of the world and stuff. But all of that is, it's just free stock footage. Yeah. There's literally just stuff you can find online. And I would never be able to record anything of the same caliber myself.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So the moral of the story is, so far this video has cost me nothing but my own time.
Yeah.
But I've learned far more from these 3 or 4 days of creating that video than I would have if I decided to give it to someone else.
Cool. Yep. Well, you said something really interesting that I think this would be an interesting debate, because I'm a bit on the other side of the fence than you on this one, where you said that quantity over quality.
Yep.
So my philosophy is the exact opposite. But that being said, I feel like the best thing for people to learn is to find the balance between those two approaches. So you can go extreme in either way. And, you know, I've had a situation where I've had a clip that got 100,000 views, 200,000 views, and then had nothing to follow up. And all that progress that I made and the buzz and the new likes and stuff, it was as if nothing happened. Because by the time, you know, if I wait a year to release another clip, no one remembers. If you're on Facebook, the algorithm forgets you. So once you share, it just doesn't get to the same people. Same thing with Instagram and stuff. It's like if you're not constantly active, you're losing those things. But then on the flip side, there was a time where I had like a following on YouTube. Yep. I used to release clips all the time. And it was this almost a similar effect of too much content, because I wasn't able to keep up with the quality, because it takes too much time to do that. And then I actually started to have subscribers unsubscribe. Like I would see the numbers drop instead of going up, because it started to get annoying, A, to get notifications too regularly, and B, you know, they go, oh, cool, Kesh did a video, let's go in. And then, man, that's not really, I liked his old videos. This looks really, doesn't look like the same level. And I could feel that. And eventually I sort of started figuring out that, at least for me, I feel the best strategy is you want to, you know, decide on what is enough quantity that you feel would get your people engaged enough. Let's say 1 video a month, 2 videos a month, once a week, whatever. You need to experiment with that because we're talking broadly and we're trying to give tips that would apply to anyone, right? And it's different genres, different artistic mediums. So some people might, you know, let's say maybe metal fans like to see something every week, and maybe pop fans like to see something every month. I don't know. I'm just giving random.
But it can also be a lot of different contexts. Like what are you trying to convey? Like the message you're trying to convey. Like obviously, I put on this is my first music video, but I've done a lot of podcasting. Now we're doing this, and you know, I've done some random bits and pieces, oldies and stuff like that. So
that's right.
So I probably don't qualify as a band as such, but yeah, as a band, it's going to be difficult if you want to sort of keep a consistent amount of flow, especially if you're doing high-end videos. Yeah. Because you're going to exhaust your budget extremely fast.
Yeah, but I'll tell you. Okay, so here we get to like the stuff where it's cool to have discussions with producers and stuff because we can really share real experience from the industry. And working, for example, with the band Tempest Rising, I feel like they're one of the smartest bands in Perth. And of course, they've had, as any band, momentum stopped because of COVID and stuff like that. But I reckon if they had not, they would have been they're already big, but they would have been so huge worldwide. They were just about to explode. They were about to go on some really massive tours. Anyway, their plan was the best business sense I've ever seen. So basically, they record an album, and in advance they shoot they decide on all the singles, and they shoot all the clips in advance. So let's say they say we're gonna have 6, it's a number of 12 tracks, 6 tracks we believe are strong enough to be singles. We're gonna produce clips for all of them. Sometimes even so smart that they were able to string together in a shoot. They know, we already have that location. We'll do some scenes from the other clip, because we can use that as well, and they came and rechanged the lighting and stuff. I saw it one day when they were doing like a 15-hour shoot, because they were doing the full day of the main shoot and then one scene at the end for another video. And they had to go back home and shower and change clothes. And I was like, that's so smart. I mean, obviously it's hard, but they saved a lot of money and they already had the video gear and everyone ready.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they could only come to those ambitious plans because they pre-planned everything. Working even with different videographers, but it was all synced. Like I was like in group chats with other videographers, and we were sort of all knowing what's the general plan for this album. And then they can start planning it in the sense of not only a launch, where they're gonna have consistency. Let's say this first video explode, but we've got another one ready to go in a month anyway. And if you need more momentum than that, you can do teasers in between and stuff like that. And there's a lot of ways you can milk content from one good clip, like making a lyric version, doing a blog about how, or behind the scenes. So, but that was the best thing. Like, I think that's the way. It's not even the way of the future. That's the way right now, the way of the present.
But that's also like Tempest Rising is also a prime example of someone who produces like extremely high quality videos. Like all those videos, including
don't mess around.
I was about to say, including the ones that you made, because you obviously made some of the earlier ones. But yeah, like all the music videos that are out, like phenomenal. Like they're really, really good. Both visually, but also like musically, is really good. Like
it's again a balance between my eyes twitching, I don't know why, but not cutting corners, but also not overspending. So they're very smart with calling out favors and doing stuff themselves if they can, but then also going where we are professionals, we're going to make sure that's production value, so they save up enough money and to get at least a videographer that's outstanding and making sure, so when you see the clip, it's really high notch. But what do they do? And this is something that I always strive to do in my productions is, let's say you have a budget of $5,000, let's make it look like 15,000 with 5,000, instead of thinking, okay, it will look like a $5,000 clip because that's all we can afford. So it's always whatever the budget is, 1,000, let's make it look like 3,000 in 1,000, so always thinking outside the box and seeing what either favors or stuff that you can do yourself instead of outsource, like you mentioned.
Yep.
You know, so if you or let's say maybe your partner can sew the clothes that they need for the clip, then it's one less thing to expect.
Yeah. Especially if you're gonna go all in and do like costumes and props and stuff, absolutely. Yeah.
So it was great. I remember when we did that really long shoot, they spent literally like 2 hours on already super taxing day of like a 15-hour day. It was the singer Vin and the videographer and I think one of the girlfriends. Literally 2 hours, I saw them just weaving a net where they needed to put skulls on. To create like this wall of skulls that would be sort of levitating almost in the air through the net that's holding them, and just spend 2 hours of the day just doing that instead of going to a prop maker that can make it as well and spend money on that. And it was a big ask because it's a big day with a lot of energy. But they knew if this is something we can do ourselves, let's do it.
Exactly.
Because then the money that we do have can go into even more bigger stuff. Let's get a better camera rig.
Yeah, or they can spend them on promoting the video later, or putting some ad spend behind it, YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're planning on promoting it. But
absolutely. By the way, so speaking on promoting, I'm curious to know, what do you think would be? How would you go about figuring out what's the size of the budget you would leave to sponsor ads on Facebook and YouTube if you want to promote a clip? Like, do you have an idea in your mind compared to the size of how much you invest in the clip, how much you would go marketing?
That's again, it's a good question, but I would say it really at the end of the day comes down to what your main goal is, because if you're spending, and again I have no idea how much. For instance, like Tempest Rising have spent on those 4 or 6 videos that they shot, but like that would obviously take a decent budget, I would assume. So I would say it would be a shame to then only back it up by a couple of $100 in ad spend. But if the end goal is, again, like I said, to make it worldwide and break through and go on big tours and stuff like that, then you gotta have a really good budget. You also gotta have more importantly, a really, really good plan.
Absolutely.
Because your plan is far more important than your budget.
Yeah.
And again, and you gotta make sure this is something we see all the time. You gotta make sure everybody wants the same thing, because otherwise you're wasting money.
Yeah.
You're burning cash that doesn't need to be burned because it's not going in the direction that everybody wants to. But to answer your question, I would say for my own case, I want to spend way more on the marketing than I want to do on the actual video.
That's interesting.
Yep. So I believe, and I strongly believe this myself, I believe you get way more out of being in front of more faces with, say, top content than you do the other way around. So you got top content, but you don't get in front of many eyes and ears.
Yes, it's true. But I feel like part of the proof has to be on the clip itself. So yeah, of course I can put hundreds and thousands of dollars and get a lot of views. But at the end of the day, if people don't want to watch it, if they don't share it, those views,
of course,
it's like it's views that don't mean much, because it means that people didn't watch most of the clip, and they just watched a second or two and closed it off. And I can tell you, like, for my recent production, the clip that we've done for the Holocaust, that was the smartest campaign that I got to do yet. And that's a lot to do with our marketer, Nikki Waters, that showed me some really, really smart tricks. So I already came with a lot of sensibilities, a lot of lessons that I've learned on the back of previous productions. But she really took it to the next level, and we actually ended up saving money on the budget that I always overspend on marketing budgets. And that was the first time ever where it's like, wow, we reached our goals. Cool, let's stop the ads. We reached the goals. So that never happened. And again, it's also the merit of the song being outstanding and the clip being outstanding. It wouldn't have happened otherwise. But without her sort of telling me, don't just put all your money, let's test the water, and then we can make decisions. That was really good. So I'll sort of break down. This is how we address our campaign. One thing that I've sort of brought to the table that I already know is that your budget for marketing should be at least 10% of what you spend on the clip. Now, if you're looking like on movies in Hollywood, it's 50-50 usually.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's 60 million, the production, 60 million would actually go on that. And I know that in the big theater like in theater productions, like even here, let's say a Crown production would be about 25% of the whole budget. So let's say it's $1 million. So 250,000 would go on marketing, and it's worth it because you get back in ticket sales. I think as a musician, we might not have a luxury of putting so much money all the time because we don't get that much return on investment. So 10% is something that I feel though should be like almost don't do it if you don't do that. You know, if you don't have at least 10%, then you're just doing a disservice to the clip because you don't giving it a chance to even get to the people.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying put enough money to get hundreds of thousands of views. Like I said before, that's not the goal. The goal is to get it organically eventually. But you need to give it a platform to see if it spreads. Right, so 10%. So let's say that last clip I've done cost me $10,000. But in my mind, the budget was $9,000 because I knew $1,000 goes to marketing. So I'm not saying you have your budget and then add another 10% of that. I'm saying this is the budget, it's with the marketing. You have to always have that in mind. So if you can only spend $1,000 on a clip, imagine that you only have a budget of 900. Keep 100 for your ads at least. If you can do more, great. But I think don't do under 10% because like you're just not giving it a platform. And so we've done a few things. We sort of started, you have this desire to get as many views and as many listens as possible. And you're saying it's my song, it can appeal to anyone in the world. Let's share it to the world. This is really a good way to get a lot of views, but not what we call quality views. So it's a lot of very short views and stuff like that. So we call it, what was the word Nikki used to use for that? It's not symmetrical, but it's, I lost the word. But it's sort of, it's just for the sake of appearance almost, right? So you want to just so, because if you do your ad for the whole world, you're going to get a lot of views quickly. So you can do it like for the first day or 3, and then what happens, you get immediately 10,000 views, 50, whatever you get. Like in our case, we put literally $7. Okay, so we put $7 out of the $1,000 campaign, right? So we put $7. We got like 7,000 views or something like that, and which is outstanding. Normally you don't get that many, but it was again because the clip was good. And once we start to see, okay, we've got some numbers now. Now we know that the clip looks good. Right? Because if you press play, you see, oh, it's already got 10,000 views. You're already in a state of mind where this is probably professional because you see the views. It doesn't look like a sad, 10 views, 500 views, whatever. So, but after that, it's like, okay, now that we have that, we don't care about the views that much. We want quality. We want people to follow the page. We want people to hopefully share it and stuff like that. So then we started to just try all sorts of scenes and different tags, USA, Canada, Australia, and does this song appeal to classical lovers? Does it appeal to musical theater lovers, rock, pop? We just tried all sorts of campaigns, $50 on that, 50 just, and then when we sort of found an audience,
your target audience,
and again, the audience was, we just measure how much do they actually watch of the clip. Do they watch 5 seconds, 10, 30 minute full clip? When we saw where there's a bigger percentage of at least half the clip watch, then we were like, okay, let's focus on that. And we ended up putting would be less than $400, I reckon, and we got to close to 100,000 views with that. But we just saw that we almost now throwing money because most of those views didn't came from the ad; it came from people sharing. And it's spreading because $400 normally doesn't get you that many views. So we're just like, okay, well, you don't need to spend money for nothing. Let's just cut the campaign. We stopped the campaign, but it was really good to have that method in the action. So basically, the lesson that I'm saying is first, you need to. Oh, hang on, we've got a question here. Steve Beagles asks, just for appearance, the view thing. I think he's not clear on that. So, Steve, what I mean by that, if you're still watching, is that when you have a clip and you press play, you want people to already see views, right? So it just looks more professional. So you don't want to buy the views. I mean, you can buy fake views. And that's the most stupid thing you can do because it's a way to get your account blocked or flagged at least. You might get like in YouTube,
there's like and stuff.
And also it's over the top. People feel that it's fake sometimes. If you have like 100,000 views and there's no likes or comments at all, like it's fake. No. So we want to be real people, but we want it to be quick. We want, so already a day after the release or 2 days, there's already 1,000 to 10,000 views, and it just feels to everyone, wow, this is like going viral or whatever. So that's just for appearance. When you get all those views from India and random places that, you know, just checked it out and immediately close it, doesn't matter. You got the view, and now now you can sort of stop that campaign that's super cheap when you do it worldwide, and start focusing on more expensive campaigns though that would get you quality views. So just for appearance means that those first 10,000 views or so are more a number that would be presented on the screen to convince people, give them a better starting point in liking your song. It's stupid, but that's how it is.
That's the same when, you know, people do the same for like buying likes on Facebook for social proof as well.
Yeah.
Like when you like no one wants to follow a page that's got like 60 likes and that's all your friends and family.
That's right.
But if it's got like 5,000 or 3,000 or 10,000, then, you know, it's, oh, okay, yeah, it looks legit. And
that's right.
But at the end of the day, as a viewer, and this is, I'm purely just talking for myself, like you still scroll through and you see, oh, okay, these guys are posting quite often, quite regularly, and you know, oh, there's another really cool video or cool content or whatever it is that this guy or girl is producing. Then if that's something that has some sort of consistency and relevancy to what's appealing to you as a viewer, then that's what gets my like or my subscription or whatever.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, just to rephrase what I said before, of course you should never throw money after shit content to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say 10% would be absolutely minimum that I would want to allocate to marketing.
Yeah,
absolutely minimum.
And I've had many, you know, I did that project Book Club, not even music, right? Just a YouTube segment, and I had a budget in mind, and I tripled it. You know, so
yeah,
so, you know what I mean. So it's not always going to be a case where you're so effective that you can cut the ads or whatever. It depends on the song. I mean, that's the ideal. You want the song to be, or whatever your project is, to be shared organically. But yeah, I think 10% is the minimum.
100%.
But also, and just important here, don't do. I used to do the stupid thing, which I keep saying the word stupid. It's not stupid, but I used to do to do the campaign. Say, okay, my budget is $500. Put $500 on the ads and let it run, right? And what I've learned through this process is don't do that. Just every time put a bit, and every time, you know, we used to work in doubling. So we were like, first time, let's do $7. Let's just see how many views do you get on $7. We anticipate we're going to get 30, right? And then we got 1,000 or 3,000 or however many it was. Then we're like, okay, what can we get on $14? You know, and then we just doubled it every time. We got then, you know, to $50 and $100
and is it YouTube or Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook in this case.
Okay.
The ads that I was talking about tripled was in YouTube, but it's a similar thing. Like it's all very, very similar. You just gotta find your niche, your audience, and then I would recommend invest in them. So you need to sort of draw the line between what I call just for appearances and really having a fan base. You need to really ask yourself, what's your goal here? Do you just want to look like you have 1 million views on everything? Yeah, cool. Just put it on worldwide, you know, no targets.
Yeah.
Collect all the views. But after a while, you're just going to end up spending so much money and just feeling like you don't get anything in return, and you don't, because you don't have fans.
Well, that's again also like what I was saying before, like a part of like, what is the end goal?
Yeah.
Like, because there's no point. Yeah, like you have a couple of videos that got 100,000 views, and you know, you haven't like, if you haven't got a call to action, if you haven't got anyone who's actually folling what you're doing, if it is just like you said, you know, people from India where it's just these clicks on and clicks out again. Yeah, like that's the same as you having a 100,000 people following you on Facebook or Instagram, but you got zero engagement and zero traction.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't got anything eventually that you can then sell, like if you haven't got a product that you can use to convert people, then $10,000 for a video clip, or $100,000 or $1,000, whatever it is effective. Like you will be running out of money.
Absolutely.
If you can't convert it, if you can't have something coming the other way, whatever that is, whether that's album sales or merch or you're selling a service or whatever it is, then like it's gonna be an uphill struggle eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I remember the word. So it wasn't just for appearances. The word Nicky used for those views is cosmetic views. such a smart thing to say,
yeah, okay.
right? These views are just for cosmetic reasons. We want to have a number on the screen, and after that, we are, getting the real views.
We want to drill into to who's actually connecting to this.
Yeah, and I remember, because I didn't have that knowledge that Nikki bestowed upon me. Before that, I was very disillusioned with this. I was like, I'm not even going to try and promote. Like, there was a time where I would just release stuff, not even, I don't care. Keep it on 50 views. I don't care, because everything is just a number on the screen. I don't feel like I'm actually reaching people, apart from my friends and family, So doing it the way that she did it, where we were eventually able to narrow on an audience that was so effective, because then you do get the comments, and you get and you really start to feel the love and the connection to the song. And I feel that's very, very, I mean, that's why we do this. If not for money, at least for that. You know what I mean? And then, of course, if we can make money, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And money comes in different ways. Sometimes I feel like from conversations I've had with people in the scene, they expect to get money immediately from the product that you're promoting, and it's not necessarily just that. So let's say that's a song. It would probably never make me money unless it becomes like a number one hit, and there's so many streams on Spotify and stuff, and you know what I mean. But that's like winning the lottery almost. So that's it's not even an objective. It's not something that I would rule out. Definitely always leaving the door open. It's on Spotify. Maybe people would find it, but the monetary return comes from people seeing. It could be a million things. It can be like they love the guitar player and then they'll hire me as a guitar player, and that's paying gigs. It could be that they love the video and then they'll hire me as a videographer. It could be the music director, composer, whatever. And pretty much to everyone involved in the clip, because the clip was in such high quality, it's an ad for them as well, so it helps in networking. It helps in so many things. So I'm looking on song releases more as little ads, just like I would pay an advertisement company.
Exactly.
That's what I'm doing. So I'm not thinking about how does this make me money, because when you do an ad, you don't think the ad is making money back. That's money you spend on marketing, and then you get money back from customers coming to your business and stuff like that. So that should be the thing, the way that you frame this in your mind, instead of thinking, how does this song make me money? I don't feel like that's ultimately the goal. You know what I mean?
But that's also very what's the right word here? Like from business mindset, that is a really, really good way of approaching it, because it allows you to be more diverse and have almost like vertically integrated opportunities, rather than just like I reckon anyway, that the way too many people are focused on just trying to make money off the music is that is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, but if you have those other options where you can say, or it might, but like I said, it might be winning the lottery, or you have to have a really strong product and really be able to push it out to the right persons, which we can talk about later, because I know, like Holocaust, you've been really good at getting networking there as well. But having that opportunity to say, look, I'm going to put out this music and I'm going to use it as more as like a showcase for myself, for what I have to offer. And in your case, like you're a very talented videographer, extremely talented musician in general, and all that stuff. So you have all these other traits that you can then, all these other services, because that, again, as I said before, it doesn't need to be just focused around the music or the product. If you can have services, and if you can sell that, and someone can say, wow, this is really cool, I love how the visual effects in this clip is. It's actually done by the same guy who released it. Cool. I might call him up and say, I really like your clip, but I'd like to hire you to do a video for us.
Absolutely.
And that's also something that'd be very easy for you to drop in when you're sharing the video. Here you go. I've done it. By the way, if you're looking for video services, I'd love to help you out. Give me a call. My details are here, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you have musician, like you said yourself, composer, you can help people maybe direct the video, or you can help them shoot or edit it. Like, boom, all of a sudden you got 4, 5, 6 different options of you selling something that isn't music in the hardcore format as it is, but it's something that's still very related to music, to the music industry, and something that most bands need.
Yeah.
So you or people in the industry need, and you just happen to be in that really fortunate position that you have a lot of other traits you can do. Play guitar, video, direct. Compose.
Yeah. And sometimes when I speak, because I teach all of the above, and I have conversations like that with my students, and some of them, might feel, well, I don't have all those talents, so everything you say doesn't apply to me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's fair. Like, not everyone have to. It takes a lot of work to develop all those different talents, and some people, have a different path. But I think it's just important you need to realize the way that things can come back to you in ways that you didn't think about. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you've done the clip, lost money on it, right? It was a big investment. You didn't make money in sales of the song on Bandcamp. You don't have million streams on Spotify, so you didn't make any money out of that project. But then, because you did that clip, a band reached out and said, "Oh, come do a night with us." And then you guys formed a friendship, and you ended up actually going on tour together and stuff like that. And all of those gigs and the development of the career that took off from there wouldn't have happened if you didn't have that seed of that. And now I've got a lot of successful projects behind me, so it's sort of easier for me to it's easier for people to trust what I'm doing. But I remember when I did the demands, right? And and for at least 6 months, if not a year after, people kept asking me, "Yeah, but you didn't make money, so is it a success? Like where do you make your money?" Because I didn't make money off that. It was a success in the sense of the reach and selling out the season, but I didn't make money. I lost money on that project. But I have to keep telling them, yeah, of course, that it didn't make me money, but I would have never developed the relationship with the company that I work for now, that have I've earned money through them, triple what I've lost on the demands. So of course it made me money, because all those connections, and meeting that person that then remember me and went, "Oh, Kesh, can you come and do sound for us or something?" Then that would have never happened. So I think above all, forget about all the talents, it's the networking where you get it back.
Yeah.
Right. And even just a side note, doing videos. When I started doing videos, I just had like a webcam and Windows Movie Maker. And that was 2012, right? First time I've ever tried. And it's still online and it's still super dodgy and embarrassing, but I keep it.
You gotta find the link for that. Do that.
And I was just having fun, really, for myself. No ambition. I wasn't thinking about networking. I wasn't thinking about even promoting my music. I was just more like, I was actually stuck here on a bridging visa. I wasn't able to work for 6 months, so I was losing my mind a bit, being stuck at home. And I needed a new hobby. So I started doing that just for fun, and I sucked at it, and it was really bad and dodgy. You see like me trying to do a split screen, instead of having 2 frames, one is like 2/3 the size, because I didn't know how to work with aspect ratios and stuff like that. So I just started doing it, and as with anything, you get better and better as you do it. And and I've never put it out there, like in the sense that I'm a videographer. I didn't think of myself as one. Wasn't trying to be even. But then one day, Ben, our friend from Easy Tigers, told me, "Hey, I'm doing a gig. I know you're messing around with video. Do you want to come and do it? I'll throw you some bucks." And I was like, "Yeah, cool. I would have done it for free even, because it's just a mate." But I've done that, and because he did throw some bucks, I sort of felt, okay, I need to be responsible and really, I'm going to watch a lot of tutorials, and I'm going to do it, next level than anything I've done.
Yeah.
And then, it sort of rolled from there, where, then his brother said, "Can you do a clip for me?" And just took over, and I became more and more professional. And that's the thing, that's the networking that I'm talking about. If Ben wouldn't have seen the clip that I've done on YouTube, then we actually wouldn't have connected. He saw me first with those clips before even I played guitar for him. Just thought, "Oh, this guy's funny. I want to work with him." That's it. So I'm not talking about hiring me as a videographer. He just thought that I've got a character, So he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to play with him."
That's great, man.
So that's really the way that I feel all those projects come back to you.
Yeah.
So you need to sort of, but it's important to keep a tally. Notice if it comes back, so you can actually understand if that project did return something for you or not, because then you can make smarter decisions. Like if I had a project. I'll reveal. Okay, so Book Club is a project I mentioned that didn't return anything for me, right? so at some point I stopped, because you also got to be smart with knowing that is it worth our time or not. I'm not saying I'll never do it again. Like any project, you do it out of passion first.
Yeah.
So if I've got free time and free money, I'll probably do it again because I love doing that. But I now know not to prioritize that as other projects or projects that I haven't done yet, that I don't know what's the end goal with that. With this one, I know it's like a dead end road. So I can keep on doing it for passion.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But now I know to prioritize it way less higher than other projects.
So why is it that you deemed it to be dead, or deemed it to not go in the direction?
We didn't find an audience, but that's fine. I've had a lot of songs, that didn't necessarily reach people as I hoped would. But those songs kept paving the way to, showing my portfolio as a musician or as a videographer. This particular one, because our philosophy was let's keep it low key, it didn't really help me in the sense of looking as a better videographer. It didn't help me to look as a better content creator. There was just, and even in terms of networking, I was already working with people that I work with. There was no sort of new blood in that project.
Right.
Finally, though, I did love to see that the people that I did team up in the project ended up, I see them now gigging together and doing stuff, and I know that some of them met on the panel of book club. So that was good in terms of the community, to connect people that I know, because that was my idea, to connect people from like musicians, theater and stuff, and work together there.
Yeah.
That's cool, and that's why I'm not ruling out doing the project again, because it was it fulfilled me in the sense of my passion. Right, that I want to create. Yeah,
creatively, whatever.
Yeah. So that was
creatively.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it. So that was good, but I didn't feel like there's any return for me. Like, I just knew this is a dead end project. Like, it just doesn't give me anything new in terms of the business growth.
Yeah.
So I said, to myself, I'm just gonna put it, back in the closet, and maybe one day, if I've got extra time, I'll go back to do that because I like doing it. That's pretty much it.
But again, I mean, I suppose that's what you expect from something that you put out. Like, and it looked super schmick as well. How everything was set up, like the props, the color grading, and everything. So. Yeah,
well, obviously we're not amateurs, So we had that. Although the sound was admittedly very amateur when we started, because we were too much. I'm not going to be fussed with that, And I think the last episodes were the ones where it actually started to come together. But me, I always love to do a lot of projects. So there was a lot of stuff going on, and I just had to sort of cut the dead weight, the stuff that it doesn't give me as immediate return on investment as the other stuff. So but it's not about this. It's not about that particular project. I'm just bringing this as an anecdote, as an example of when sometimes you need to just look on the project and think, what does it give me back?
Yeah.
And then decide if you're going to keep on going or not. So, yeah, that might be of some benefit to some people. I don't know.
But do you reckon, like from an overall perspective, and obviously you've worked with quite a few people in the industry, but do you reckon there is a tendency to people sort of trying to continue to chase something that may or may not actually go somewhere?
Yeah, for sure. Or it's not even the something, it's more that they don't have a coherent, business or marketing plan, and but they keep operating in this way that doesn't give them any results. So it could be they actually seen on a wonderful product. Like, I know amazing bands, we've talked about this, just amazing bands in Perth, amazing talent. But then the way that they either promote their shows or promote their clips or whatever is not a good way. But they just keep on doing that. So they keep being on this road where, they're sort of surprised, why are we not making it? But it's not a surprise, because you're not changing. You already know that this is not working. You need to change something.
Yeah.
So not talking change your product. You don't need to change the music that you're writing or how you perform. You've got that covered. You've got the talent. But you need to think about now the stuff that is less exciting for an artist, the business side. Yep. And you need to think, what am I doing wrong? How can I change it? And even if you don't know, I've been like that many times, where I'm just like, I don't know. That's not my bag, man. I don't know how to come up with a marketing idea. Then find people that do.
Yep.
Like going back to the example of working with Nikki, just the tips that I've learned from her through that campaign we've done together, that's now knowledge that I have for life that I can do without her.
That's it.
And that's why you pay people like that sometimes. So I've done most of my campaigns without a marketer. This time I felt I want to do something new, because, like I told before, I was a bit disillusioned about sponsor ads and stuff. I didn't feel that I'm actually getting to audiences. There used to be a time where it was super effective back in the day, like 7 years ago and stuff. Sponsor ads would be so good. It would really get you. I would get so much traffic and content and people subscribing. But then, the last few years, it just feels like there's too much competition, too much stuff, and it just gets lost in the noise. So that's why I felt I felt like I was stuck. I was like, I don't know. I know that I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what it is. I don't know how, and I don't have any idea how I can make it better. So that's where you go, okay, well, I think it's worth my money to go to someone that actually specializes in that and see what they can do.
But that's like, but you're also very driven in general, like with everything that you do. And I suppose it's also very important to to identify here that you are in most cases again like a one-man operation. So you don't have the influence of separate minds who wants to maybe pull something in other directions and stuff. And I think in some cases anyway that can be super beneficial because like you make the decisions whether they're good or bad. But obviously it can also be super overwhelming because like you said, you don't have the support of being in a group of people where there might be someone in there who's really good at marketing or fill out some of the things that you lack. But yeah, I think bottom line is, and I think this is what a lot of people, whether you're in a band or whether you run a business, because it's identical, it's exactly the same thing. The stuff you don't know how to do, if it is something you are serious about, you need to find someone who is, or someone who can fill out that gap. So otherwise, you only know what you know.
That's right. That's right.
And that's actually really good. It might be a really good sort of segue to come over to, because I remember we had a chat about that last time as well. Like the importance of being willing to invest in yourself. How incredibly important that is. Whether it is again investing in a really good marketing campaign, whether it's investing in a really good video, whatever it is. But again, it has to be something. Actually, my point here was to what you said. Like you invest in a marketing campaign, but you got some insights that you now have for life.
That's right.
Like you deciding to up your video skills by investing in a video course is something that again, has probably exponentially grown your skills.
Oh, I think I've already made. I haven't even finished the course and I already made more money. Probably the money I invested in the course back in sales just on the merit of them teaching me some new business skills and a way to think about how I'm framing stuff.
Yeah.
So you immediately feel that if you stop and think about it, you really see how much it contributes to do stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's again, I think I think especially people in probably more so in the creative industry don't understand or maybe don't have that thing as something that like why should I spend money on that? Because of where you are.
Yeah.
Like if this is where you are, but you want to be over here, then either you need to really change how you think about things, or you gotta start engaging people. You gotta either hire people, or you gotta learn those traits yourself. And obviously, at the end of the day, if you learn them, whether it is an actual learning curve, such as like another skill, such as video editing or marketing or whatever it is, then I think people forget about it. It's not easy. Because like I said, like you start out and I didn't know how to aspect ratio everything. No, but you didn't stop, and that's the key thing here. Like you kept going. That's how you get better.
Absolutely.
Any musician would be able to identify that. I didn't play guitar like this when I started. No, but you didn't stop, and that's why you play like some people get good like that.
Yeah.
And they practice all the time and have this crazy regimented routine where they have to just do drills and do bits and pieces for like 5 hours every day. And I understand most of us, especially being adults, don't have 5 hours of practice. But then you find time and you prioritize that time to fit in the stuff that you either want to learn or the stuff you want to accomplish.
Yes, I completely agree. I think that from my experience, every band, I've been in many bands in my day, and it's always going to come down that the weakest link, that's your level of success.
Always,
right? And
anything you do, always.
You have to, if you really want to make it, whatever make it is for you, having a lot of streams on Spotify or world touring or whatever, you need to. It's so important to make sure that everyone is as motivated as you. Or more. I always strive to work with people that are better than me, because that pushes me to develop. And I had this epiphany, luckily, at a very young age. I was just fresh off the army, and I was playing with this band, and we would just jam and work on original songs. And we've done it for, I don't know how long, maybe 6 months. Auditioning singers left and right, couldn't find someone to work with. We would just do it instrumentally. Then one day we found someone that was good. And he was like 7 years senior, which when you're 20, that's still a big thing.
Yeah, it's big jump.
So after we had the audition, we were all like pumped, and he sort of took us to our place, and then he had a conversation with us, and he asked, "So what's your goal? Like, why are you doing this band? Why are we doing this?" And he was not accepted to the band yet. He is now almost interviewing us, right? Because he's a bit more mature and he wants to understand, are we playing? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Because he dig the vibe, and that's something we never actually stopped to have a conversation about. And of course, I came in and immediately with my mindset is like, well, I want us to lock a singer, start writing lyrics, finish the song, start performing, and hopefully, you know how it is. You want to get into a van, do tours, and rule the world. And then, but then,
why else are you doing this?
Yeah, and then to my shock, everyone else in the band said, "No, I just like playing music with my friends. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's just a cool thing to do after work." And I just went like paler and paler as they kept talking. Yeah. I remember it was I was just like I was so embarrassed because I think he picked it up. He felt that I was serious, so he kept like winking at my hands, like see what you've stuck with, you know. And it's not that they were bad people or bad musicians.
No.
One of them was insanely talented, one of the best bass players I've heard in my life. But they didn't have the attitude, and you can't change it. You can't force it. There's no point even talking and trying to convince them. No. If that's not what they want to do, because you know how it is. It's not that you want to do it. You have to do it. If you were born with that, you know, with that bug that you want to be a musician, you're compelled to do that.
Whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be music, but it's a fact. If you don't have it, if you don't have the same goal at the end, and that's why a band is such a fragile environment, man. Because you are only gonna achieve as much as the weakest link.
Absolutely.
Because that's your ceiling.
Absolutely.
That's as high as you can go.
Yeah.
And those tough conversations, that's a really cool story, by the way. But again, it underlines everything that you see. That's the reason why bands split. That's the reason why both my previous bands split. And again, we made it so far and stuff. But it comes down to expectations. What do you want out of it?
That's right.
Why are we here?
It's so important. And I would wager that all of the bands that we know that we feel deserve to have more success and they don't have it yet, probably didn't have conversations as deep as that. Yeah. They might have had a bit, but I don't think they really sat down and talked it, like for real.
Because it's
like a business meeting. Yeah, because you're all mates and you don't want to do it. But it's so important. And just to finish that anecdote and to show the flip side of this, right? So obviously he didn't join the band because he felt it's not a serious band. I stayed with them because they were mates, but immediately started putting feelers for other stuff. And I think 2 weeks later, I left that band. So that band was just I was writing all the songs, but it wasn't my band, like it was our band, but I was the chief songwriter.
Yeah.
And then I left them to go and play rhythm guitar for another band, not my songs, not even allowed to play solos, just play rhythm guitar for another band that I met them and they all felt like they're on the same page. They were all, we're going to do this because we're going to get famous and we're going to rule the world, and they always told me we're working like with this underground producer. Have you heard about it? I was like, yeah, this guy is amazing. And I worked with them, and 2 months later we got an audition for the biggest label in Israel and started working with their producers, and immediately my life changed just from making that conscious decision. So it was immediately validation from the universe that as much as I love those guys, and you would think that my heart would be with those guys because that's my music. And of course my goal is to make my music, which eventually I ended up doing anyway, but it was a better choice to go and work with people that were motivated. That was more important than doing my music at that stage.
Doing the other band would be a waste of time.
Yes. And that's it. It was just 6 months that I lost.
As brutal as it sounds. Yeah. And again, if anyone listening to this, thinks, oh shit, that might be my band, you're wasting your time.
Yeah. That's right. Don't wait for the guys to come around. No. It's not going to happen.
And that's
the guys or the girls, obviously. It's
but it's a shame because like you can literally waste years and years of your life without having this conversation, because it might very well be that someone is just happy enough to keep this as a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but then you shouldn't be together.
That's right. And I've seen some bands do something smart. I've never done it, but nowadays I'm a solo artist, but if I was in a band, I would seriously consider this, because I think it's a really good way to push people to be motivated or not be in the band, where they basically charge a fee to be in the band, a weekly fee. So it's not really a weekly fee, it's more, there's a band piggy bank, and everyone contribute to that weekly. It's like almost like a gym membership, right? But that forces you to, because obviously if you're not motivated, you're going to be, why should I have this expensive hobby now, this band that's costing me money? The end goal obviously would be to one day make money from the band, but you only get there if you're willing to, put in the effort. And it's not just learning the songs at home and coming prepared to rehearsals.
Yeah.
That's the basics. That's not even a thing. It's putting the money and the time.
That's actually not a bad idea, and that's again something I brought this up recently as well, because I had someone say, because everybody's always looking for the free gig, the free ride, the free this and that, and I'm like, look, if you put something up and say, I'm just going to charge you $5, why is that? So, just so it shows that you're a little bit committed. We're not talking, thousands here, man. But even that, to some people, can put people on the fence.
Absolutely.
And it's funny though, because it is, even though it is that sort of trippy conversation where you go like, well, how committed are you? The actual dollar figure, if any, it doesn't have to be dollar figure, but the pain point, whatever the pain point is, doesn't need to be big to actually find out if you are serious or not.
That's right.
But it really brings people out.
Yeah, I think so. So that's good. I feel like we covered a lot of ground today.
Absolutely.
We've been at it for an hour. I'm seeing here.
I was about to say, I'm completely lost track of time. I usually sit in with the computer. I usually run the clock here. But you're the guy
moderator.
Today. Yes, that's it. I love it. I love it.
No, that's good. I mean, obviously, for people watching this later. They can, it would be great if they do have questions about the business or something specific they would love to hear tips about. They can leave comments. We can answer this in the next clip.
Yeah, we can even answer it organically. We can answer it in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it would be good to collect, topics that we can cover. And we obviously have a plan to bring more, even bigger and more successful producers than us to have even more insight into how. The mentality that you really want to start developing to be a successful artist. But it's been great. I hope that people enjoyed. I'll keep this on my Facebook in case more people watch that. But definitely, I'll stress this again, go and check Stephen Helhammer YouTube and Facebook, because he's got a better recording. It's with like professional mics. Sound better, look better.
Hopefully.
And he's got a lot of other content as well. So definitely worth the follow. Thank you for letting me be part of your channel. No,
it's a pleasure. Like I'm grateful that we're doing this, man. It's a great opportunity and something that I think we can have a lot of really good conversations that would benefit if not just us, and hopefully a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So fantastic.
All right, cool. We're gonna sign off.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm just gonna duck